Welcome back to the Convo Couch wrap-up show. Here in Washington, Fiorella is doing an interview. So you lovely people get to have me and Jonny only. I hope that's okay. I know I'm not as purty as Fiorella, not as smart, but I'm a hell of a lot more fun. I'm way funnier. And I think I'm better looking, but that's beside the point, She had an amazing speech at the Forced to Vote rally when we got in. It's kind of highlighted on our YouTube. Please check it out. And if you can give me a couple likes on mine, just so I can get 1,000, I won't feel as bad. But, Fee's speech was fire. I was hoping to get a chance to speak at the Stop the Steal rally and talk about election integrity. Actually, I was going to print stuff out and hand it out. We never got to do that. A lot of the printers were closed down here in Washington, D.C. But I have some announcements to make. I'm going to make them in a little bit. This is Pastor Jardula speaking over here. I hope everything is going great. You can see we got some National Guard, some military police out here. The scene is a lot calmer than it was yesterday, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go over a few things, too, as well. Some misconceptions that were out there and floating in the mainstream media, painted with a broad brush, just like the people who stormed the Capitol. And I'm not going to ever condone that or excuse it too as well. I try to pay attention to why people are really that pissed and who are they pissed at before making those decisions. But let me just point out right off the bat that wasn't the majority of people here. There was like 150,000 people, I think. After I still go over the numbers, it was just ridiculous. There were so many people here. So I don't want anybody to paint a broad brush and think that it was all the Trump supporters that were doing that. It was a limited few, and people are questioning who those people were as well. But I'm not going to get into that right now. I have to look up that and see more detail. I can tell you this much: there were a lot of Stop the Steal. What's that? We can't walk down this way? Okay. Military police here. National Guard is in. Hello. And man, this place is a lot calmer than it was yesterday. So the message today that I want to point out is broad brush, that we can't paint things with a broad brush. I think the Republicans have done that, and I think that the Democrats have done that, and they continue to do that yesterday. I think we need to focus more on why these people were here. There was so many hundreds of thousands of people out here. It was ridiculous, ladies and gentlemen. Take a look over there real quick. You can see all that there, that lake. They were all on the other side of the lake all the way back. They were all over here in this area right here in this grassy knoll. So, yeah. And, of course, the real news shows up after. All right, let's get this spot right over here so you can see me talking. Tell me where to stand, Jonny. You can see the fence that has now gone up in front. Military police here. But okay, I'm going to just kind of talk a little bit and stuff like that. I think the message, like I said, is not broad brush. We can't paint it with a broad brush. I've said in every single one of these protests, whether it be Black Lives Matter, Antifa members, Proud Boys, normal people coming out, normal, but nobody affiliated with any of those groups. Why are they mad? Why are they angry? And I said, too, when Donald Trump concedes and he says he's going to give up the seat and stand aside to Joe Biden to take it, I'm going to stop talking about that election. However, I am going to continue to talk about election reform and push for election reform. Watching the Senate yesterday, I got to say again, it was very, very sad not seeing one Democrat talk about the serious issues of election when it comes to proprietary software. I know like a lot of Linwood fans like to concentrate on the Hugo Chavez Ghost of Christmas Past. We've done interviews. We've met people. We've talked to Clinton Curtis, who years before that testified to a Senate committee that he was approached about making a software that could flip votes. And I just like to point out that it's not just Dominion. It's ES&S. It's Hart. It's Smartmatic. They all have this software in there that where votes can be flipped, and it's proprietary. So we just got to remove that from the equation. If we do have any tabulation machines, they have to have open source. But I would even recommend what Dr. Shiva talked about in going back to hand counting in public where it's casted, it's counted. That's another important thing to talk about. and fix our elections moving forward. But I am scared with a completely controlled Democratic House, Democratic-controlled Senate, and now Joe Biden, that mass censorship will be upon us, and we will get zero election reform because the Democrats are still talking about the things that are important. Suppression. The article I wrote, Johnny's wrote several articles. He's holding the camera, by the way, and you should go back and read them. Jordan Sheridan should go back and read them. And he talks about the actual systematic issues and following shit around and the lack of transparency and the fugazi bullshit audits and stuff. I actually talk about suppression that we experienced in 2020 at the polls during the Bernie primary, where Joe Biden was polling at 8%. He ended up getting 28%. And I talk about that. So we talk about every avenue of problems there is, the issues they have. There are suppression issues that we need to take care of. Whether it affects areas of color or, in this particular case, with the drop boxes. The drop boxes were heavily dense in the Democratic areas, and they were not in the suburban Republican areas, and that's a form of suppression too as well. So we need a clean slate overall when it comes to our elections, and I'm going to just talk about election integrity. I'm not going to go back and talk about the general election anymore. Let me show you my nice shirt I wore. But as far as going for yesterday, I think it needs to be addressed. I know they're already starting in with the 25th Amendment. Let's impeach him, whatnot. He's on the way out. Just stop. People were pissed because of the election. And that's something I think that they have to recognize, understand. Just like the other side has to recognize why people are in the streets, why Black Lives Matter's in the streets, why there's so many poor people in the streets. We need to fix the overall issue. And once again, I look at it as it's not each other that's the problem. I feel that we're pitted against each other to fight so these elites and these oligarchs can run off with all the resources. They're the ones over there that haven't given us a decent stimulus, that haven't figured out problems for small businesses and restaurants, especially in areas like California where they're shutting down left and right. It's them. So, they have to make their own bed, and they can sit there and say, oh, this person incited this, that person incited that. No, the issue is they haven't taken care of the people. The 1% hasn't taken care of the people, and that's what needs to happen. So I asked, don't paint a broad brush of what happened yesterday, because there was a lot of lovely people here too as well. We saw uncles and aunts and family members and babies. Senior citizens, veterans and stuff. And then we saw some angry people as we got closer to that building over there, and the tear gas came out. It was really rough. Let's not paint a broad brush. I know the attacks are going back and forth, so we need to start the process of coming together and just trying to strengthen everything that we need to when it comes to our laws and getting the people out there who are really hurting. Let's not forget, we're still in the middle of a pandemic. Businesses are locked down. People are indoors. They haven't paid their rent. In a couple months, we're going to have a tsunami of evictions coming, and these people over here have to figure out how to help that situation. Because there are going to be a lot of people in the streets. I can tell you where we live in California, there have people who have not paid their rents for 8 months. So what's going to happen to them? We can't just throw them out in the cold. So that's an issue that they're going to need to fix, and we need to pressure them to fix that. So what we saw with the forced to vote situation, where we showed up and said, hey, you withhold that vote unless Nancy Pelosi puts Medicare for All on the floor for a vote. It didn't work. We weren't successful, but the news got out there. And hashtag force to vote was trending all the time. So the fraud squad was trending like crazy too as well. I still don't believe they've done the right thing when it comes to the progressives. We really haven't got anything on the table. And I even said, hey, if you're not going to force the vote for Medicare for All in the middle of the pandemic, at least force the vote for Ilhan Omar's standalone bill when it comes to a rent moratorium and a mortgage moratorium. Do that. Do something. But what did they get? Oh, we got committee positions. That's not enough. That's not why we put you there. So you need to get back to working for us. Also, action for Assange. That stuff was so great. Seeing all the people from the gray zone, Max Blumenthal, Anya Parampel, Dan Cohen was there. It was just amazing to really get to meet those people and talk to those people. When Max Blumenthal got out of the car, he got out with such a huge smile when he was walking out. Like, Julian Assange not going to get extradited to the United States. We were like, yes. But how funny is it that they said, for the people who invented war, the Brits, that American jail is too harsh for that person. So it's kind of crazy. He was denied bail, so that fight still continues. And I really hope that if Donald Trump does anything, he pardons Julian Assange, and the man is free, goes to Mexico where he's been offered political asylum because the guy has been nothing more than a truth teller. Remember, WikiLeaks, a 100% accuracy rate, never had to retract a story. I think a lot of Democrats are still pissed at him because of the Democrat WikiLeaks, because he exposed that stuff. But you know what? The people have the right to know. The people have the right to know, and that's the most important thing. And Donald Trump went around, oh, WikiLeaks, thank you over there, WikiLeaks, WikiLeaks. Well, pardon Julian Assange. If you're going to do anything, just your last thing, pardon him. Then you can go salute, get in your helicopter, go off and play golf for the rest of your life. But at least do that, because we need that. And I just want to give a big up to the Action for Assange people. I mean, a little group of YouTubers really led the way on this. They just were out front and center. They talked about Julian Assange. They talked about the persecution. They let you know every day how many days he's been there. And can you imagine? It's been almost a decade since he's been able to hold his loved one, his children, his mother, his father, who have been so instrumental too in the movement and making a connection with those Action for Assange people and lifting them up. We have to fight for freedom of press. Now, talking about a freedom of press, I saw what they were going after right away. They were talking about censorship once again. Oh, we have to shut social media down. We got to make sure that they can't coordinate the way they did, the way they attacked the Capitol building. Bullstein. They got to stop with that stuff. Most of the people here were peaceful people, okay? And you can't shut down and silence people's voices. It's not for them to decide what the truth is. It's for you, I, and all these people over here to decide what is truth and what is lie. If you don't like it, you turn it off. So once you start censoring people, you open up a, a poo gate to let censorship just reign over and over again. And we got to point this out. Joe Biden took $16 million from big tech. Donald Trump, less than $500,000. So that's where the concerns are when it comes to censorship. And that's an area where the Democrats really need to come out front and center, because their voices are getting suppressed as well. The progressives, that is. They can't just join in this situation of like, okay, we could shut this person off because we don't like what he has to say. So that's something that we have to really just take a look at. So that's one of the things we need to pay attention to. So I just want to wrap up here. Johnny, you want to have a few words, let people say, and thank you guys to listen. All those people on the Rokfin that are joined up, please join up. Join in the games with us together. You can get some Ethereum, transfer it to Ray token. It's going up. It was at 14 cents last January. Now it's at $3 plus change. Can you imagine? We have a friend of ours who got some at 24 cents. Ungi, Ungi, your $400 is now worth like $1,200. Well, how much is it worth now? Oh, forget about it. It's worth like $1,600. Thank you so much. Thank you for your support, ladies and gentlemen. Check out the Convo Couch. If we're not on YouTube, Rokfin. Convo, C-O-N-V-O. Got it. Thank you. You definitely will. And she was just giving thumbs up with Julian Assange and freedom of speech, and she was agreeing, and that's the part, talking about the people. So anyways, thank you for joining on. Here's Jonny Tsunami. I love you guys. I'll speak to you soon.
Yeah, that was cool. We had so you have mainstream media over here, someone from Canada here with big camera and lights. You have somebody over there too, mainstream media. People started crowding around us when Pasta was talking, which was interesting, because you see the stark difference between independent media and mainstream media. We were on the ground there. We were up there. We were up there in that grass, almost there to the steps. But if we had our gear on, I would go in there just to document everything that was going on. But it was a lot of tear gas, and we didn't want to really get stuck because our flight leaves tomorrow. So I just kind of want to talk about what's happening right now. So far, you see the Capitol building behind me, and they've put up this fence, this black fence here. This is the same fence. It looks like they've been putting it up today. The time is 11:45 here in Washington, D.C. We are on the East Coast, Eastern Standard Time. And, we have the National Guard out here. They're just just not letting any of the public on this street. So there's the whole block that the Capitol sits on. They're not letting anybody on. I would like to see the backside at some point, possibly. Maybe we can take a walk over there. So they put up this black fence. This is the same fence that they had in Portland, which was interesting. Hey, I know, right? And then they have this secondary fence here, and anyone can really hop over. But it looks like they've secured the area, and we're here, and yeah, like Pasta was saying yesterday, this whole area was filled with Trump supporters. It was crazy to see. It was about 100,000 people, I think. I agree with Pasta. It was at least 100,000 people. There was a lot of people here. And, it's just an interesting thing to see. We have been covering election integrity even before the general election. We covered that in the primary. I've been following Raji Rob's lawsuit, which if Donald Trump actually saw that lawsuit, I think he could turn the tide of election integrity in this country, because Raji's like the closest I've ever seen a lawsuit get to getting into inspecting the machines. Most recently, we saw that they what's it called? Yesterday she did a tentative ruling for a protective order, and to grant a protective order. So basically, Dean Logan, who's the election official in Los Angeles, requested specifically a protective order for the logs, for the the logs and any inspection really, and and they would allow a visual inspection with like limited things. And Raji doesn't want that. He wants to be able to see the logs. He wants to see the Cassandra logs. That's what it's called, Cassandra database logs. And you guys heard that we got into it with Status Quo. I don't know if any of y'all are on Twitter. There's a lot of shit going on Twitter right now. I actually made a tweet where I said that Jordan hasn't really acknowledged, because I kept commenting on the times when we talked about the election integrity stuff, that he hasn't acknowledged the articles that I've written, because those articles are on the ground analysis. Like, you see the videos, you see the white vans pulling up on a Sunday at the Tally Center, and I'm told by the people that, oh yeah, no one's working. Then who's receiving the ballots? You know what I'm saying? It's just a lack of transparency. And then the lawsuit is showing evidence that it was illegal. These machines are illegal because they accessed the vote count before. As soon as you scan ballots through the tally machine, they access the vote count. So, I don't really want to get into it. Jordan's been tweeting at us, and he said, he DM'd me privately, and he said that I told him it's a 20-minute read, and he's like, yeah, well, I don't know if I'll be able to read your articles because I got this deadline. But he's been, like, tweeting at us for, like, the whole, like, all of yesterday and today. So that's over 20 minutes. So that's just some... that just tells you who he is, right? He doesn't want to look at it.
All right, let me sign off.
Can we go around? Let's go around.
You want to walk around? You want to? All right, let's do that. I got a super chat. Guy, we see everybody over on the Rokfin. It's looking nice and tight. You got your bottle of water there? You good? All right, it's looking nice and tight on Rokfin. The picture's clean, guys. Go on over there because suppression is starting. The one thing I did hate that Jordan said is that he kind of blamed people like us, he said, for this chaotic response and that we should be taken down. Well, number one, that's censorship. We never incited anybody to go anywhere inside the Capitol building. Yeah, okay. Number two, these people that were here yesterday, none of them really watch our show, man. John, for us to walk around, it's a long walk.
Well, let's take a look.
Let's take a look. All right. I think it's a long walk just to get in over here. I think we can cross over there. Okay. And, a lot of the people that were here yesterday they weren't Convo Couch fans. As much as I'd like them to be, they were not. How you doing?
Pretty good. Yourself?
Good. Thank you. It's it. See, that's the thing is that, you can see in her face there's a sad Trump fan over there with a hat on, and I think this is it. It's over now. It's lights out. Time to just concede. Tell your people what they need to do. Tell them to be peaceful. Tell them to stop. And once again, that was a small representation of the majority of the crowd that was here. And by the way, getting back to the Jordan thing, these people don't watch the Convo Couch. We've never incited violence, whatnot, and everything. We acknowledge the people's pain, why they're upset, what had happened in the middle of the night with the ballots, all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's just, the system is not set up for checks and balance. The system is not set up to be properly verified and looked upon and say, okay, these are the real results. They're not. It's get the shit into the machine as quickly as you can. State police here. Get them in the machine as quickly as you can. Seal up all the information, verify the results, get out of here. And once again, it hurts progressives or populists who are trying to get into the Congress and as independents and Greens and all that stuff. Cynthia McKinney experienced this stuff. She could tell you. And nothing has changed. And the Democratic Party, whether you like it or not, has not been talking about these serious issues. Yes, voter suppression is an issue. I said it over there. I'll say it again. But it's not just the only issue. And quite frankly, it's not even the most important issue, because the most important issue is that software. It needs to be removed out of the machines. Proprietary software has nowhere in our publicly funded elections. Careful, we got a group over here. Hi, ladies.
I mean, this is
So, yeah. And they're not talking about that. And the mail-in system is also another way. Jimmy Carter said this years ago. It's a gateway for fraud. A gateway for fraud. Seems like we got a lot of people over here still. Metro Police, District Police, who knows what's going on. Maybe they're expecting more backlash tonight. I had a super chat. We always love you super chat people out there. Every bit helps. I think it was from the Mad Wolf. Let me go find him. We're going to go around here. Oh, we do? Yeah, let's not miss that Streamlabs. Ladies and gentlemen, we have almost 900 people watching. We appreciate you guys coming on, chilling out with us. Mad Wolf said something. Let me find him. Hopefully he's still there. Mad Wolf, I lost your super chat, but thank you for that contribution. It was not right that Status Quo went after the Convo Couch yesterday. Hey, listen, when they're mad at you, you're doing something right. Watch the box, sorry. You're doing something right. And yes, it was not right for Jordan to put anything on us. I've tried to reach out to Jordan. Virginia State Police here too as well. We have a lot of police presence over here. Hey, I appreciate you. This is Sergeant Hoodie or Hoodle. Sergeant. Got a lot of sergeants around here. He says, hey, appreciate ya. Like listening the left, because I don't want monoculture without the insane double standard BS like Jimmy. How are you going to get Medicare for all without election and transparency? Hey, listen, I understand and I agree that too as well. But, you know, at least he hasn't mocked it. At least he hasn't minimized it. And I said that to Lee Camp when we did the interview with him. Thank you for not mocking and minimizing it. I believed he was completely wrong. Can we go in here? Yeah, we can. Yeah. Gotta ask. Here we are. We're on the grassy knoll. So, yeah, listen. At least Jimmy hasn't minimized it. You know, he had Jordan on the show to talk about the Bernie, Iowa app and the Shadow app, stuff that we kind of knew. But, yeah, you know, I agree with you. I agree with you. And even Medicare for All, which I strongly believe in, especially in the middle of the pandemic, and they all ran on it. That's why he held his feet to the fire for that. But I would have also given those neo-progressives an out and say, if you're not going to put that bill up, put Ilhan Omar's standalone bill for rent forgiveness, mortgage forgiveness, because we still haven't solved that problem. So it's just crazy. And guys, there's almost 900 of you watching on YouTube. Let's get to 1,000. We love you. Taking a look at all the police presence. We got Metro Police, Virginia State Police, Capitol Police, Police. Wonder how everybody's feeling now. That Capitol yesterday was breached. A lot of funny stuff to think about, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of funny stuff because they started blaming social media. And you know how the elites work. Cause a phony distraction so they can censor the shit out of you. Patriot Act was one of them. You know, so that's why when people question 9/11, you shouldn't mock them for questioning it. Loose ends. Is it loose ends or loose change? I don't know. Jason Bermas' movie, just awesome, guys. Just awesome. How you doing? For what?
I don't know.
Oh, you did? Yeah, there he is. Somebody was arrested for jumping the fence over here. They got the secured area and about 100 police. So 100, maybe about 500 over here. Metropolitan Police, there he is. He got arrested for jumping the fence. They're not playing any games today, ladies and gentlemen. So, hey, what's up, buddy? I think he was at the Force to Vote, or the Assange one. Oh, and the real news showed up. Where were you guys yesterday? Sorry, guys. Sorry about that. Hello, Jim. No, it's right here? Cool. What if we want to walk that way?
No, you can't.
Ah! We can't?
Absolutely not. Walk around.
Yes, sir. Sorry? Guys. Okay. Well, they're a little bit upset. Wonder why you get a bad rap. Stuff like that. We were trying to walk around this way. They won't let us, but we're going to have to, I guess, walk around the long way. But you saw that. Just a dick. Just a dick. Say, sir, I'm sorry, sir. We're not allowing people to come through this way if you won't mind walking around. No problem. No, absolutely not. That's why you can't just give them a free pass. You can't.
We should ask,
It's nuance, baby.
so let's see.
Here.
Are you want to like plan to like ask some Trump supporters like some questions here? I want to ask them about the how they feel about the authority of the police. Because before, and there are off-duty police that just came here to Washington D.C. So I'm just curious, like, because a lot of the Trump supporters are pro-police, back to blue, right? And then they also got tear gassed and shot rubber bullets and shoved and they've experienced what the BLM protesters have been experiencing all summer. So I'd be interested to ask about that, ask about Assange. Any other ideas in your head?
No, I just ask them about what they feel about the last final straw and Donald Trump conceding if he does. That's what I want to hear from them, and I want to hear what they're going to go forth with as far as any type of activism or role they want to play in government as a citizen, if they even think voting counts, or what they're going to pressure their council members to do, or their state electives to do, or their district, their House representative. What are they going to pressure them to do in the future? And so that's it. How you guys doing?
Good, fine. How are you?
Good. You want to do a little interview?
Sure.
All right.
Where y'all from?
We're from the independent Convo Couch. We're independent. Okay. We're independent media.
Convo Couch.
The Convo Couch.
I haven't heard of you guys.
A lot of people have it. I call myself a leftist libertarian.
A leftist libertarian.
Leftist libertarian because I believe in civil liberties, election integrity, which we're all election integrity activists, and ending regime change wars. So I supported Tulsi.
Like a conservative to me.
Right, and then that's the whole thing, though. But I do believe in Medicare for all. You probably don't. I do believe in some form of climate legislation.
Well,
yeah.
I believe in some climate legislation, but I don't believe that humans are what are causing the climate problems.
That's a discussion for another day when you contact me.
But, other than that, we're probably in agreement on more things than we're...
Yeah, like I said, I was part of the progressive movement. I'm like a leftist libertarian. I supported Tulsi because of her legislation.
I like Tulsi. Tulsi's good.
Yeah.
That's why they got rid of her.
You know what? I can't even defend the treatment they gave her, so we're not going to go there. But let's talk about a few things because I'm curious. Because my mom, she's a big Trump supporter, and it's funny because growing up at Italian American, we never had cops over our house and break bread. There was one that lived across the street, and he was never allowed to come over. Maybe because my grandfather's side job was a bookie. But I grew up with that mentality that, policemen are kind of like, We saw some stuff by the police officers yesterday. And now a lot of Trump supporters are Blue Lives Matter, that kind of thing, supportive of the police officers. But we saw a veteran lady who rushed the Capitol, got shot in the neck, killed. We were here yesterday, the tear gas came out. Like, we cover all the Black Lives Matter rallies and the tear gas comes out and the rubber bullets come out. What are your thoughts today about police officers in America? Are you upset of what happened?
I think those police officers did exactly what they were told to do. I think they've been doing exactly what they've been told to do all summer.
Yeah.
Letting all the riots happen, not really doing anything to stop them. I had some guys tell me that they were around the backside of the Capitol building yesterday, and the police were actually opening up gates and ushering people through.
Yeah.
That didn't happen in the front. But
You're suspicious of what happened yesterday.
I think, I think it was planned. I think it was planned to let them into the Capitol. I'm not even too sure, but what some of the people that started the movement towards the Capitol were hirelings.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure that the actual patriots would have actually
Done that.
Yeah.
You were here yesterday.
No, my car broke down and I couldn't get in.
All right, well, you got here today, and we even said the majority of the maybe 100,000 plus people were peaceful people. We had uncles, aunts, veterans, little babies, whatnot. But we did see some very angry, pissed off patriots at the front.
Yeah, I understand why people are mad.
Why are they mad?
Well, for one thing, if there was no election fraud, which I don't believe,
Yeah.
why won't they investigate it? They keep saying all of the evidence is, there's no evidence. Nobody's shown any evidence. Well, they can't show any evidence because the judges aren't allowing them to have a trial.
Yeah.
You don't show evidence when you file the suit. You don't show your evidence until you go to trial. So no evidence has been shown because the courts are so crooked that they won't even let anybody come in. They just keep saying, "Oh, you don't have standing. You don't have standing."
Yeah. As election
I think every citizen of the United States should have standing on this election stuff.
As election integrity activists, following grassroots candidates, following the same type of mentality, we know what it's like to be told without standing. We started this thing when the Bernie Sanders election in 2016, where we saw inaccuracy after inaccuracy and just mathematical anomalies. And then in the courts, Bruce Spiva, the Democratic lawyer, said, well, we have the right to go into the back room filled with cigar smoke and pick for whoever we want. So we, as election integrity activists on the left, say, welcome to the party now when it comes to our elections. What do you think the number one thing systematically we need to change in these elections is?
I think we need to go back to paper ballots and hand counting. Okay. I've been saying ever since they started computerized, clear back in the 70s and 80s, and it takes 1 or 2 lines of code. And if somebody walks up to a programmer that they know is working on this and they say, hey, you see this picture of your little kid? He walks to such and such a school at such and such a time and home at such and such a time. And here's your wife at the grocery store. And she goes there every Wednesday at 6 p.m.
Yeah.
Is that guy or woman, are they going to do what they tell them to on the computer code?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It's easy to force somebody to do the wrong things when they have people they care about. Most people don't have the guts that an Andrew Jackson has to let someone kill him if instead of doing the wrong thing.
So moving forward, what are you going to do to change that if Donald Trump does concede the election to Joe Biden? I know I saw somebody walking by saying Biden's not going to be sworn in. I think after last night, and we've been kind of fighting for election integrity for a long time and calling this election for what it was. But I think after last night, what happened in the Senate, what happened in the House, that it's going to be almost inevitable that Donald Trump is going to have to salute, get on a helicopter, and maybe go play golf for the rest of his life. But the thing you talked about, how are you going to change that or be involved with changing that moving forward as a Donald Trump supporter and a patriot?
Well, first off, I'm not sure that Trump will leave because there's still the Insurrection Act, and there's plenty of proof that Biden and Harris and all of them are criminals.
Okay, so you're still not.
So I'm not absolute. I got to agree with the woman. I'm not sure that Biden will ever be sworn in.
Okay.
I don't think it matters whether Biden's sworn in, whether Biden's not sworn in, whether Trump gets a second term because they prove all the fraud. I don't think it matters. I think a year from now, we're going to be in a war inside this nation.
You're fearful of that?
I've been fearful of that for several years now because they can't keep pushing us. I'm not, and both sides have gotten so split. We're just like before the Civil War. Yeah. There's violence in the streets. There's, I remember 1968 and the violence that was going on then and all this. It's way worse now. Yeah. There's so many people that are so far to one side or the other side. I mean, there are people that think no matter what Trump does, it's okay. Yeah. That's ridiculous. Yeah. There are other people that think no matter what Trump does, it's terrible. Yeah. That's also ridiculous. Yeah. Joe Biden's a puppet. I doubt that without the drugs or whatever they're giving him, without a teleprompter, he could even tell people what his name is. I mean, this man is, and he's never been smart.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, but he is tough because he whipped Corn Pop and his whole gang, you know. But,
Yeah.
you know, we're in trouble. And as polarized as we are,
Yeah.
and like the way the media was talking, and even all of the politicians after, we had to watch Fox last night because in our hotel that was the best we could get.
I know, right?
But it was, you know, the way they were talking about how awful it was, the violence that the patriots that went into the Capitol, and a horrible level of violence, and how everybody needs to condemn that. I'm not saying what they did was right, but on the other hand, if you saw the picture of Pelosi's desk with the manila folder that they'd written in red on that said, we are not done yet, or we're not finished, we won't back down.
Yeah.
That was the only thing on her desk that looked to have been disturbed.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think that if Antifa had walked into that office, that it would have been in that good a condition when it was done?
Yeah.
I mean, these were terribly violent people that did no harm.
Let's talk about something else I want to talk about that you hit on, because you talked about we're so polarized right now, right? Yes. And it's been one of my missions. I'm on Twitter and I have like several thousand followings, and I joined Parler, and my name is Nuanced Leftist Libertarians, and my code is I'm here to talk about with people who don't necessarily agree with me, but to build bridges rather than burn them down. Absolutely. Because that's my mission, to talk to people on the other side that don't necessarily have the same ideology. But in this culture, in this kind of climate, we've been told that you demonize the other side and you don't talk to them. And it seems like everybody on the right calls everybody on the left a commie, and everybody on the left calls everybody on the right a fascist. What do we do to repair that bridge, to start coming together? You said it's the worst you've ever seen in a long time. Well, what can we do so guys like me and you, not just guys who think like me and you, but the guys who are at each other's ends on the left and right, come together as Americans, as humans, and repair that breach?
Well, first of all, we need to realize that we all have more in common than we have against each other. Yeah. We also, though, have to realize that there are people on the fringe, just like John Brown. If you really studied John Brown, I'm from Kansas. Okay. So John Brown was something I grew up studying. John Brown was so far out there. He was mentally ill. His sons were all killed because they were following him and didn't even necessarily believe in what he believed in. Yeah. I mean, we've got too many John Browns on both sides of this issue. And you can't talk to people that have been that radicalized, and we're getting more and more radicalized. There's a middle ground, and the middle, I mean, by the middle ground, I'm not talking about the people in Congress that they call moderates.
Yeah.
There's nothing moderate about those people. Yeah. They're power hungry, slave owning elitists. And if you study the background of most of the people that are in the Congress, they're many generations of elitists. Yeah. Donald Trump's the first president we've had for a long time, since Eisenhower, that wasn't born with an end to the whole thing. Yeah. And so he's a man. If you study the issues that, and we've been going through all these issues for centuries. If you study the issues that Andrew Jackson was fighting, they were the same issues that Donald Trump's fighting. The National Bank, now it's the Federal Reserve. Yeah. All these things. Yeah. And slavery. We got all these elites. You got LeBron James and all these people that are making billions of dollars off of slaves in China. Yeah. And yet we got to say Black Lives Matter? How about Uyghur lives? How about Christian lives? How about anybody who's not a member of the Chinese Communist Party? Yeah. I mean, we got to start looking at reality and not just staying on the fringe of things. Yeah. We got to understand that when you get right down to it, we're all fighting for the same thing.
What's your name, where you're from, and just one last thing, because you've talked about certain things about Donald Trump that the reasons maybe why you like him, because he's not part of that whole bloodline elitist. Just so our audience knows, you don't have to explain it. Give us one of your criticisms of Donald Trump, then tell us where you are, where you're from, and thank you so much for this interview, sir, because it's been pretty amazing, right with the Capitol behind us the day after.
I've always had my criticisms of Donald Trump. I don't think he treated his first wife correctly. I mean, I think a lot of his morals have not been good. I don't like some of the rhetoric that he has. My name is John Keever. I'm from Smith Center, Kansas, which is as close to the center. We're 12 miles from the exact center of the continental over the 48 states. Yeah. So whatever direction, we're centrally located. Yeah. We're 1,200 miles from the East Coast, 1,200 miles from the West Coast, gotcha. 1,000 miles from the northern border, and 1,000 miles from the southern border. But, so you can't get any closer to the middle of the country. Yeah, but, I think Donald Trump has tried to do some of the right things. I think he's been incredibly foolish about a lot of the people he appointed to offices. Oh, yeah. I think letting the Republican National Committee make decisions for him at the start of his presidency as to who he was going to put in the cabinet, as to who he was going to pick for his vice president, all of those things. Yeah. He's made a lot of those kind of mistakes. He's not a politician. He didn't know. Yeah. And if he was a politician, he'd have picked the same people anyway. Yeah. Because they're politicians.
I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed this conversation. Thank you so much, sir. Pasta Jardula from the Convo Couch, here with a great Trump supporter. I'm going to give you our information because I'd like to have more conversations with you, talk about China, talk about the Uyghurs and all that other stuff, because there's a lot more to that, I think, when it comes to how we perceive China nowadays. Not going to say they're all angels, the government and stuff, but I think sometimes some things do get a little mixed up. This is my card.
There's mine.
Your number's on there?
Yep.
My number's not on there. My page is on there, so you can go back and watch our show and whatnot. But I'm going to reach out to you, my friend, and maybe we can have some more talks down the road.
Well, I don't check my email often, so if you send me an email,
I'm going to call you a cell.
Give me a call.
I'm going to call your cell. John, Pasta, Convo Couch. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time, guys.
Have a great day.
You too, my friend. Thank you. So there you are. I need some hand sanitizers if you got two, just as well, just to make sure. But yeah, I mean, Johnny, let me give you the microphone for a little bit and tell me your thoughts about that conversation.
There were a couple things I disagree with. Trump was born with some money, I think. He even said that he got a small loan of $1 million, right? Like, that was a thing. So there were a couple things I disagree and I would have pushed back on. But, overall, a lot of people are, it's the media, man. This is why we're doing what we're doing, because it comes down to the media, the education of everybody, like the empire education that we experience in school and everything like that. So that's why we're doing what we're doing, because we need to have independent people, independent-minded people, independent media to give you a different perspective than what you see on MSM. You heard that guy said that he doesn't he Trump supporters used to watch Fox. Now they're like not watching Fox. They're going onto YouTube, which is huge. So there are a lot of bad things that Donald Trump has done, right? And there's some really some changes he's brought also with all the bad as well. But more people are keen into election integrity now. I wasn't keen into it until 2018, and I had no idea. I thought we had a democracy in this country. It turns out, if you actually look, there's not. If you actually go to your own election office, there's not. Go for it yourself. The public is allowed to observe the elections. Next election, go to the office yourself and see what happens. The other thing is that people are recognizing that the mainstream media is fucking propaganda, and that's a huge step forward. So. Some of these people, are just Trump fanatics, right? Who, like he said, think that Trump can do no wrong and whatever, and that's just not right. And then the same thing goes for the other side, where some people are just Biden supporters, just because there's a D next to his name, Yesterday, I got a call from someone trying to get me to make sure I'm registered as a Democrat so that I can vote in the Assembly District in California. I was before that phone call, I was already planning to probably deregister as a Democrat because I see no. There's no changing the party. The party changes you. That's what I see. So even though the Democrats claim to be, democratic and left and all that, they're really not. They're just like the establishment Republicans, the establishment Democrats are all in one, the same. They vote for the military. They vote to increase the military budget. Nancy Pelosi voted for all of Trump's NDAA bills. Trump increased it by billions, and they voted for it. They all voted for it. I got that. Adam Schiff voted for it. That asshole, Adam Schiff. Schiff for brains is what Pasta likes to say a lot. But we're here and we're at the Capitol, and it's. Yesterday was crazy, man. Yesterday was crazy. I wanted to talk about a little bit of a recap of some stuff where I'd say my favorite part of this trip was when at the Action for Assange victory celebration, right? Or no extradition celebration, but now he's got no bail. He got no bail. So there was a guy with a guitar. And I went up and filmed him, and that song was great. So that's on our channel. If you scroll down, it's a song for Assange, and the guy was T-Bone Slim, and that song was really nice. It was guitar, and that was kind of like the highlight of the trip. I feel like for me, I felt a lot of energy. The time I felt a lot of energy in this trip was when we were here and people were storming the Capitol. That shit was crazy. Like Pasta says. There was a lot of aunts and uncles here. I saw a lot of families here, especially in the back crowd that was kind of staying back. A lot of the younger men, or the dudes who are that claim to be Proud Boys, or a little bit militarized and stuff. They were rushing up to there. I did see one guy who was pulling out a bear mace, but then his buddy told him to put it away. I got that on film actually. Bear mace. Yeah, he's like. He was pissed that the police, tear gassed him and sprayed him. They pepper sprayed. The police were pepper spraying people. So, I wish we'd gone to the back yesterday, but yesterday we were in the front, and we did see them tear gassing. I actually didn't see any rubber bullets being shot. I did see the tear gas canisters being released. We heard a lot of boom, boom. So that was a lot of the tear gas canisters that I've heard in Portland, Seattle, Los Angeles. I've heard it.
You know what that smells like, right?
I know what it smells like. They didn't use the strong one. They didn't use a strong one like they had in Portland, right? In Portland, they had the C3C, a different type of tear gas that was like, it's banned.
Yeah.
For war.
We got the canisters, so.
Yeah, we got the canister. We got a picture of the canister. Look back, Convo Couch, Portland, if you want to see us getting tear gas. But basically, they experienced some of that. I'd say it wasn't at the level that BLM. I'll speak for all my activists, acquaintances that we've made on the ground in Los Angeles, because they were showing the stark difference between how police responded to BLM compared to this. So I almost agree with that guy who says that it was like a thing. Even Steve is saying it. Steve Poikonen is kind of like a psyop. It was a psyop. And
give them permission to start censoring.
So it could have been. How did they storm the Capitol so easy? Like look at how many cops there are now. They're like, okay, it's over now. So that was really interesting to see. And we're just gonna keep trying to go. Thank you all for your support. We're gonna keep trying to go on the ground where the action's happening and bring you a different perspective that the mainstream media doesn't show you. Was it violent? Would I call them terrorists? I didn't see that, but you see on the ground, I didn't see that. There are videos on Twitter and stuff. I didn't see any guns. I didn't see assault rifles. Apparently some people were concealed carrying. I didn't really feel threatened during the day. At night when we were at the Proud Boy thing, people were giving me some looks, but because they probably thought I was Antifa or something. But other than that, I spoke to a gentleman, a Trump supporter, yesterday. He was a firefighter, and we kind of had an interesting conversation there. You should ask him about Assange, that last guy. But
Somebody donated over here. Thank you so much. I think it was a super chat.
Oh, we got a super chat?
Yeah, there's
you
a
want
bunch of blue stuff going on too as well. So.
blue stuff?
Yeah. Well, on the left here, this.
Yeah, those are Streamlabs chats.
Oh man, thank you so much, guys.
We appreciate the Streamlabs chats. But yeah, no, like I said, we're gonna continue covering, getting on the ground. This was history that just happened. You know, this is like an event that's equivalent to major events in our history. I don't think in our history it's ever been people been storming the Capitol like that. Like that was a crazy scene.
Yeah,
and we
I've
do
never
have
seen
some
that.
footage that I got to release. It's on my camera.
Please.
because
That's the shit.
they cut out the 5G.
Yeah, they kept counting out.
Now we have 5G, which is crazy because now there's nothing, right? So
Thank you to this guy, George S.
so they George is in. Thank you, brother.
Super chat contribution, Georges.
Thank you, brother. Let me see if there's anyone else.
Rokfin does not give me a chat.
Oh yeah. I get the text for Rokfin. Okay, so but yeah, no. Thank you for your support. We wouldn't have made it this far if it wasn't for you guys. You know, we're really happy to be on Rokfin, ROKFIN.com. If you haven't checked that out, go check it out. It's basically a free platform. It's like Patreon and YouTube put together. And you can invest into crypto too. You can buy Ray token. If you want to do that, reach out to us and I can explain it to you. There's also Medium articles about that Rokfin has put out if you want to buy Ray token. It is at a high price right now, but maybe the high is the low, just like with Bitcoin. But basically, it's like Patreon and YouTube put together. There's free content. Most of our content's free, but you can support us and get everyone's premium content, which includes Jimmy Dore's live streams and all that. Everybody on the platform's premium content for $9.99 a month. We get paid in crypto. It's a sweet deal. And, you know, we're going to keep on doing it. Paso, you ready to head out?
Yeah, I'm going to do a little quick sign off real quick. Make sure you get the Capitol behind me. Make sure you get the Capitol behind me. Come on, I need the Capitol behind me. Lynn Lombardi just reached out to me, our good friend Lynn, and she said, thank you for that conversation with our friend over here who's walking right over there. We just got some great compliments about our conversation. So, yeah, they said that. Oh, yeah, we stream live. It will be reposted it takes about 6 minutes after the video ends. So we're going to end the video in about 6 minutes from now. You can go right to the Convo Couch at YouTube, pull it up. You'll see it will be our last video and find it wherever you're at. And then, yeah, we'll be in touch, though, because since we were a hit, we got to do it again. Okay. All right. But thank you so much, Lynn Lombardi. Lynn Lombardi is a close friend of the Convo Couch. We love her. And thank you, Lynn, for reaching out and saying that she was very glad that I let the gentleman talk without a lot of interruption and didn't push back because now I'll be willing to open up and continue to talk more. And I didn't. There were certain things I could have pushed back on and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of it, his main thesis was, let's work together. Why are we so polarized and fighting each other? And I know a lot of people have put this false sense of hope out there, like it's time to unite. You're going to hear Biden say it. He can go scratch. I'm so sorry. But there are people out there who are going to support Biden that we could talk to. And it's going to start with us, inside of us. You know, I always mention the Tulsi Gabbard thing because I think the main message she had is like, we don't demonize this other side. That's why he said, oh, I like Tulsi and stuff, because we never demonize the other side, whether they think different than us, whether we think they're racist or not. That goes back to what Dr. Cornel West said. Everybody's got issues. Everybody has problems. Everybody is somewhere. We have to give them the time. It's better to talk to these people. So all I'm going to say is, judging by some people on the chat going back and forth, saying the libertards, oh, Donald Trump lost, he's a baby, his people should just stop whining. Let's find something within ourselves to say, hey, I'm not going to trash the other person. I'm going to have a nuanced conversation with somebody I disagree with in a respectful manner, try to keep our own thoughts and feelings inside, and really let's start the bridge with one another. Us Americans, us humans, us people, whoever you want to say it. You know, I think more human-wise, but people think Americans, whatever. Okay, let's find something within ourselves to really just hold back, not demonize, not chastise people who think differently than us, have those nuanced conversations, and move forward together, understanding that we, the people, have a lot more in common than we do apart. And these people in this building over here have to start working for us, whether they be on the left, whether they be on the right. They have to start working for us. We, the people. The 1%, enough is enough. So that is my message. I want to thank everybody who joined Rokfin today, who signed up, who subscribed to us. All the super chats, we can't get to them, but we'll reach out, we'll find you, and we'll thank you on the next live stream. I'll make sure I write down your name to thank you for those Rokfin chats. Those have been amazing. Diana Schoenbeck, you've been amazing. All those other people, our Rokfin family, our Super Rays, and even those people who left that love on YouTube. But we have to be mindful of now what YouTube is doing. Remember, they use this excuse as to say we have to start censoring more social media, so they couldn't plan this shit together. That's why things seem so fishy, because New York Times had 2 articles right away. Caitlin Johnstone wrote a great article. So thank you so much on the behalf of Jonny Tsunami, Fiorella Isabel, and all our fans and people watching, all those people who on the Streamlabs left some love too. We love you too as well. Pasta Jardula from the Capitol. Convo out. Give me the piece.